hog eating. Did you fart when he did that at the same time?
No. I farted when Joe Bill was in there earlier, dude.
As you already did, he goes, ooh.
Oh, crap. Hey!
Hey!
Wimps and posers.
Wimps and posers.
Leave the hall.
Leave it.
Welcome to the old live YouTube feed. Recording and rewarding everybody out there who's trying to watch the podcast early. Thanks for tuning in while we're out here pooning in. You know what I'm talking about?
Where?
What?
Where are you pooning in?
Man, I'm not pooning in anywhere.
Hey.
I just ready to record a podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, brother.
Man, I love that fucking 3-6 Mafia. At the end of the album when they're talking about like all the upcoming shit that they have.
Most known unknown.
Yeah, and it's like we got the new Chrome coming out. We got Choices 3 the movie, and Juicy J's like ignorant.
Hey, I finally watched that Antichrist movie where the lady cuts her
Oh
clit
my
off.
god, dude! With scissors, just cuts that shit off smooth.
She bashes that boy's dick and then
Oh my
jacks
God, dude.
cum out of it, jacks blood out of it.
Yeah, that would feel good though, probably.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a wild movie. What'd you think about that, man?
I was like,
Every last one of us.
I was thinking, man, I'll never move to France.
Yeah, that wasn't France ass shit, dude. The French are so stupid.
Yeah, that's Lars von Trier.
Yeah,
He did that Nympho.
Trier.
Oh, was
Nympho.
there really a French director?
Yeah, dude, Lars von Trier. Always Lars von Trier.
Makes a
We don't want to hear it.
great baguette.
Willem Dafoe, man. That's not actually Willem Dafoe's dick. Is the only disappointing part about that movie.
Yeah, first when I saw that part where
Stunt
they were
Wayne.
slamming that fucking ass.
Oh, yeah, it's right at the beginning. It's just penetration, man. Straight to
I
it.
was like, slamming? Oh, fuck.
Fucking hair.
Man, he slapped his hog into her pig pen hard.
Well, yeah, dude, for the longest time, I was like, man, Willem Dafoe's got a big fucking piece. But then turns out it's not real.
Stunt cock.
It's stunt cock, man. Willem Dafoe's gay, right? As queer as Blue Blazes? I'm certain of it.
Because of his name.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. I mean, what else? Every last one of us have won a soul. I mean, I love wimps and posers.
Suck these balls.
Every last one of us. Why the fuck can I just copy that shit, B?
If you guys have not seen the fucking Manowar interview on Nickelodeon in the 70s,
Yeah.
oh man,
It rips.
they're the coolest praise and worship band. Honestly,
What worship band?
praise and worship,
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's what they're doing.
but not that queer Lord.
Odin and war gods.
Warrior gods arrest all fraud, suck that bing ding. Drive myself to drink.
Man, YouTube, I've noticed that the sharing in the comments shit is not even a thing anymore. They like wiped that the fuck out. Because, you know, usually if you fucking share a post and you put a link to anything in the goddamn post, it, no one sees it, you know? Nobody sees it. Your friends, your family, your fucking loved ones, people don't like it. They have to, like, intentionally come to your profile, which no one would ever fucking do. No one ever should be like, man, I wonder what this motherfucker's up to, and then look at their top, like, their first post.
With Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook hides that shit. That's why if even Facebook shit, like, if you make a post and you put a link in the post, it does not show up in anyone's feed. Yeah, man, that's why did you never notice that people would post like link in the comments?
No, man, I feel like...
Look, I just posted it. That should be the first fucking thing on there. Wimps and posers, leave the hall.
I mean, that showed up. Zach.
Oh, look at who's wrong.
I mean, it's there, but it's not like Yeah, but it's not like, I mean, trust me, guys. It's not like the normal shit. Like, it's not like a regular post. You know what I'm saying? And if you put it, but now it used to be like, that's why everyone's always like, link in the comments. Because if you post a link to some shit, you like, here's like, hey, I'm going to be here on Friday. The event's in the comments. That's why they do it, because it like the algorithm of that shit. Like, it's not like, I'll post it now and it'll like everything else. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like a priority post. It's not like but it used to be if you put it if you hit it in the comments, not hit it, but it's like you just comment the link, it wouldn't affect it. So now it'll be like a regular status I put out instead of having a link in it. But they nixed that shit too, because I made a couple of posts this week that would have like, you know, at like noon, which is like when it's heavy traffic, and it'll always be like, you know, and if someone likes it, it refreshes it to the top. I think that's what the thing is like it doesn't refresh to the top if you have a link in it. Anyway, now I noticed that when you put it in the fucking comments, even, not shit.
It's Facebook.
Yeah, I know. I know why they do it. It's because they want to make money. But fuck that shit. I'm not with it. But everyone uses it.
Yeah, there's a reason why Barg doesn't have a Facebook.
Yeah, because he does what he wants to.
It's much
He
better
only
than
has
that.
YouTube. Dude, have you seen, $1 subscribe, he makes $150,000 a month off $1 subscribers. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Got 100
On Patreon. Oh, he's got way more than that. Just only $1 subscribers. 150,000 of them. He makes like his total Patreon's like $275K a month.
I wonder how much he's taxed on that in Norway.
He lives in France, so none. He ain't paying no fucking taxes, dude. He's homesteaded. He's gonna sovereign nation their ass.
Okay.
So I doubt he pays shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess.
He's
I don't
wildin'.
fucking know, man.
He's straight wildin',
They
son.
watch that shit.
Yeah, people watch. You watch it?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying they watch that shit. How much money you make off Patreon?
Man, I'm sure they do, but he's already been arrested. Yeah, I think he got arrested in France once for like hate speech, like when he bought a bunch of like rifles and shit, right?
I don't know.
Man, he got arrested for like trying to incite a race war, and he bought a bunch of rifles. And
That sounds right. I mean,
yeah, but he wasn't trying to do that shit, so it was like a big deal.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Let's find out. Does Varg Vikernes pay taxes? Let's find out. Let's find out. Will you have an orgasm tonight? Let's find out. His wife's all autistic and shit.
And he's not?
What?
And he's not?
I mean, he might be. He pitches a pretty good case for autism being the
He does,
superior
man.
genetics, man. Like,
He
oh
does.
yeah. I agree. I see what you're saying there. As long as you're white and autistic, Varg's with it. Every last one of us. Let's find out. What a fucking cool catchphrase, man. Let's find out. Let's find out. I want to hate that dude so much, man, but sometimes he makes a good point. Like when he was talking about them offering him $450,000 for doing 2 Berzoom shows, and he's like, "Oh no, I do what I want to. I only do what I want to." He's like, "I've never played live before because I made all the music myself, just me. I do not want to get with 5 metal dorks and come together and try to work it out." Like, yeah, all right, man, I get it. Like, I understand. That's like 2 months of Patreon for him. I bet he's taxed 40% on that shit, dude.
I bet he's taxed more than
It's
that.
France. More than 40? Why?
Because it's France.
Well, what would you call it? Just income, right?
You'd have to.
Well, yeah, it'll be 40%, dude. Income tax is 40%. One from say.
You say that, but income tax over here is supposed to be like, you know, from my bracket, I pay somewhere around like 20%.
Yeah.
But the problem is my commission, any commission that I make is taxed at 40%. So it varies.
So they don't count your commission as like
Mm-mm.
just straight earnings. That's whack, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Whack.
It's taxed a big time.
40%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet that Patreon is like a paycheck instead of like commission. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
I fucking hope, man, because I'm gonna have to file that shit. File that shit.
I don't know.
Fuck my ass. I don't want to think about that. I should have put it in Buddy's name. What the hell am I doing?
Or file it under a certain amount.
What?
Depending on how much you raked in, you might not even have to file it. I think
Well, next year, I'm sure I will. This year, I don't even give a fuck. Like, I didn't know. It's a slap in the face to fucking queer types of government. Will I pay taxes on Patreon funds? Let's find out. Hell no.
You can see the dick of a young man.
Yeah, man, you see a fucking butt.
Then-
Every last one of us. That dude's gotta like work his voice out so much, you know. Some of those highs he hits, man, just fucking ripping.
My son is a feep, he's very weak. He's
And live, that
so-
shit's flawless, man.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Manowar's the best man, dude.
I love him.
If you guys listen to Manowar, I hope. If you don't, and like, you know, when I fucking heard Manowar the first time, I was like, fuck this. It's an acquired, but once you acquire it, man, nothing compares, dude. You got to hear the lyrics. That's the thing, is once the lyrics get in, you just get an understanding. It's just songs about going to war for heavy metal.
With your brothers
Yeah. Yes.
and ladies.
That's what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, that, yeah. That's I mean, it makes total sense. That's God damn it, man. When they charge us 40% on taxes, that was our career?
Oh, man, dude. No, they wouldn't charge. That's the only career you should have, is going to fucking war for metal with your friends. All right, guys, let's get together and take on this bullshit. Will we succeed in the battle for heavy metal? Let's find out.
Yeah. Well, like you get on the field, man.
What?
You get on the field, and it's like Clay Aiken's the general of an army, and you're like, oh, this'll be easy.
The blood on your hands is the blood of a king.
The blood on your dick is the blood on your dick.
Yeah, that's such a ripping song, dude. It's just about fucking going to battle and not stopping until you kill the king yourself. Yeah, that's the coolest thing to do in a battle. Is kill a fucking king. Fuck yeah.
Take his fucking throat.
Cut his fucking head off. Yeah, now you're the goddamn king. This society fucking sucks nowadays, man. If I could become the king, I should be goddamn allowed to. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think that's still how it works.
Man, hell no, it's not. If I went right now and fucking snatched up Donald Trump, if I fucking oil checked that huge rump of his and grabbed onto that weird fucking headpiece and just lifted his ass up and fucking sidewalk slammed him and broke his ass in half and said, it's mine. That's not going to happen. I'm going to go to prison. That's what I'm going to get. I'm going to be the king of prison.
Yeah, but I mean, a king has to have an army. You got an army behind you to take out.
You would get the army if the world worked the way that it should, like it used to. Like if I fucking ran up, the king's got a giant kingdom with a powerful army, and I run through, and I fucking clap that dude.
Didn't work like that then.
Man, yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. You kill the king, you're the king. That is how every society in history worked until computers. That's a fact.
That's a Pogs and Slammers metaphor.
Yo, so today I was listening to like Hank Williams Jr. songs, and they have Country Boy Can't Survive Y2K. Dude, that's the funniest song. If you've not heard it, it's the funniest song I ever made before. It starts out, Country Boy Can't Survive starts with like, what is it like? The television man says we're gonna die. It's like, computer man says it's the end of time. December 31st, 1999. That's so funny, dude. And he's like, we'll survive even if the big machines go down. Man, he made a whole album that basically, he wouldn't have had to make that record if you're a record company. And you got to pay, like, let's say you have a contract with Hank Williams Jr. and he's like, I got all these ideas. I'm going to come in. Y'all are going to give me that money because we signed a contract. You could have just skipped all the bullshit if you would just take him and put him in the booth, set him down, and just let him say the N-word one time into the microphone, that would have been it. Because that's the whole album. It's just tiptoeing around that. He's got a song called Mr. Lincoln, and all he's doing is saying that Abe Lincoln was wrong. He's like, Mr. Lincoln, I don't think things turned out quite how you planned. Yeah, wish you could come back and give us a hand. Old boy gets locked up for killing a few, and then he gets out 'cause his lawyer's a Jew.
He said that?
Yeah, I swear to God. Look, I play this shit right now, man. I'm in fucking, this is every single song on this fucking album is about how someone stabbed his friend and fucking got away with it. Like, that stuck with him more than anything else in his whole life. You know, his friend that got killed with a switchblade knife. And that whole thing's ludicrous, too, because he's like, never call me by my name, just Hillbilly. He would send me pictures of the New York lights, and I would send him some homemade wine. Like, what a shit fucking trade. Like, why don't you just get a computer, you fucking dork? Oh, look at these lights, honey. Look at my friends up there. His daddy taught him how to do business. He taught me how to make homemade wine. So look at these fucking lights, man. Can you believe it?
Wow, yeah.
But yeah, let me look this shit up.
He brought it to light. That is pretty dumb.
This shit's out of control, man. But he's making records about how he doesn't like black people exclusively. That's all the hell he's doing. The name of the album is like America. Yeah, America in parentheses, the way I see it.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude, this song is called Mr. Lincoln. Are you serious? Man, he ain't copyrighted shit. I think you just gotta talk over
you
it.
dumb?
Yeah, you're right. Fuck my ass.
That guy's like,
I forgot you can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, alright, just look up the song Mr. Lincoln. That's bullshit. You can't fucking be racist and then also get people kicked off of YouTube. You got a choice to make, brother. Number one, you could hate minorities. Number two, you could copyright shit on YouTube. If you're racist, it should just be public domain right away because we gotta be able to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, that's seriously, and then the way the song goes, he's just like, I don't think things turned out the way you planned. But I mean, and see, I swear to God, there's like 10 songs on that, and every single one of them is about how a black guy did a crime, went to jail, and lawyers got him out of it. And he's got one, it's like, oh man, what the fuck does he say? He's like, sometime when the night turns black, I'm gonna be there. You got rights, I got rights too. I'm gonna read them to you. You're gonna go to hell. It's ridiculous.
hey, old Lincoln, all them laws you put into action got America stinking. I fucking hate
Lincoln?
Lincoln. I hate them all. I hate every president that's ever been involved. I got my guns and my rice packed away, ready for a rough time.
Did you say rice?
Yeah.
Man, I got a bunch of fucking rice just in case shit hits the fan.
What else you gonna trade?
When someone
What else you gonna trade? You're just gonna trade rice?
You could trade.
Dude, I mean, I know. So I know where there's somebody that lives fairly close that has like a whole fucking stockpile of shit. I'm just gonna show up and be like, man, my family is out here in the cold, and I told y'all we can't let anyone else in. Like, man, please, my family. And when he comes to the gate, come cow. It's all mine.
Man, you could trade a dime bag of rice for some mountain woman pussy.
Yeah, for sure, dude. You could for sure fuck if you have rice.
Are you lost?
It's a pig trough.
Oh, that's a big, huge lady running around looking for some Rice Krispies.
Man, pigs are the most mental animals because if you just let them go, they get long black hair. They just fucking get long ass black hair, dude.
Like on top of their
tusks. Yeah, dude. They go from like being all pink and shit to having long black hair and tusks.
Man, dude, can you give them a bowl cut?
Yeah, I'm sure it just goes away if you put them in a pen. If you take a pig and you just put it in a fence, it turns all pink and succulent. If you let it fucking go for like 2 months, what a cool animal, man.
And it's got the fucking Bruce Dickinson fucking haircut, man. That'd be so cool, man. It rolls up and it's like,
fucking
it like gets on its hind leg and like throws it behind its ear. It's like, I come to take everything.
Well, I was talking to one of my friends, man, and he was saying if they go to his like country ass friend's house, every once in a while they have to go inside because there's a pig or a mountain lion walking around. Like, oh shit, everyone in. It's a fucking pig roaming around.
Yeah, those things are dangerous, man. Wild boars.
No
Man, I fucking know they are. We got chased by some in Hawaii. That was goddamn terrifying. We were running from the pigs, and there's like an open field, and my friend's like, "This is the only way out." He's like, "Because if we go this way, there's like a trench that goes right to the car, but if you get in the trench, the pigs will flank you." I was like, "Well, I'm not trying to be fucking flanked." And he's like, "Yeah, but if we go through this open field, and this is we're running. We're not like standing and talking about it." He's like, "But if we go through the open field, it is littered with very aggressive bees." What the fuck? It's like, can we not just climb a tree? He's like, "No, man, the pigs won't go anywhere." Like, so you just get in a tree and the pig just sits there and fucking waits. He's like, "Yeah."
It's like that scene in
Yeah, I was
Tommy
like,
Boy,
what
man.
if, what if you climbed a tree to get away from wild pigs? They just stay down there and start fucking each other, dude. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna fucking make it. Dude.
That happens in Tommy Boy, man. They get stuck in a car by pigs, and they have to pretend they're getting stung by bees.
Oh, I get it. You're calling the cops pigs.
Hey, hogs.
What's up, you fucking sows?
Yeah.
Because they're women pigs. Cops are soft. Are police soft? Let's find out. I don't like those cops that come in the gym to lift because they're cops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't wait until they ask me to spot them. I'm like,
No.
drop it.
I just say no, man. Nah, dude.
My chest is broken. My ribs are gay.
You gayed my ribs up.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck. I mean, I guess we can record this shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel warm and ready to knock this shit out, baby.
Yeah.
What you're gonna say at the beginning, so we can.
Yeah, do I just say it and then you're gonna fix it later, or?
No, just do it like you would. Come in, like we'll start the episode, say what you want to say, and then.
Yeah, you'll affect it afterwards.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
With
Like,
that Paul stretch on it.
it's a death metal boys. Go get you a street. All right. Listen up, wimps and posers. It's a death metal boys. Go get a street pump.
And then are you like? Am I just gonna bring in the music at that point, or are you gonna say death metal?
Yeah, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'll say that and then pause a second and then just do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Every last one of us.
All ready?
What's up, wimps and posers? It's the Death Metal Boys. Do a street pump. Welcome to Death Metal Dukes. Yow! Listen to Manowar, Article 1. That's all you should do. This week, if you like this show, only thing you should listen to besides this is Manowar. If you don't understand Manowar, spend some time with it. Hear the lyrics. Go to war for metal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We got a special treat this week because one of our Patreon users, Bobby Henderson, longtime supporter of the show, highest tier of patronage, good friend, and he helps us run the Facebook page. So we let people at certain tiers of Patreon pick a crime or a death metal song that they want to compare to a crime. So he hit us with one of the best death metal songs of all time, Bolt Thrower, What Dwells Within. And so I thought to myself, it's got to be, because when I think about Bolt Thrower, I think about war, you know? Like, I want to go to war. Like, I want to get in a tank and just drive it through a pussy.
Impossible, but that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, like you get a tank and you put like 15 fucking Scud missiles on the outside of it, and you turn on the pink sink and just fucking and cram it in there.
Man, I got
You know what I mean?
We both got a Scuzz missile.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
I mean,
shoots
yeah,
Scuds.
it can't fucking come as Scuzz. What if you came lint?
Man, that's That's a hell of a ride right there. You,
Yeah, that would suck, dude.
man,
You'd
the
be
pink
lonely.
sink would soak it up, and it would pull it straight out.
Man, pink sink's the funniest thing we've thought of for a while, dude.
Yeah, pink sink is.
Because it's just like the natural lubrication, man. You turn on the pink sink.
Yeah, the fucking faucet's the clit.
Oh my god, dude. Turn your pink sink on, sit back, and get rubbed.
And you get wet.
God damn it. So, but
What if you made? Yeah. What if you made somebody take a whore bath in a pink sink?
oh man, it's like fuck, dude. I haven't showered in like 3 days. We got this wedding to go to. There's no fucking, there's no water anywhere. Where can I get some moisture to fucking clean myself up with? Well, hold on a second.
When you're on the brink of stink, fire up the pink sink. You're gonna get clean as fuck. Then you gotta smell like an air duct.
God. Fuck me, man. All right, so when I think of bolt thrower, I think of war. Now, I wanted to do a war crime. So we ended up with a 2-part episode about some crazy shit I found. This dude named Dr. Marcel Pétot, he's French, which fuck the French, first of all. I thought he laughed. Captain Valerie is his nickname. And then his nickname evolved into Dr. Satan.
Dr. Satan.
Dr. Satan, Dr. Satan. Dr. Satan, Dr. Satan. Oh, Dr. Satan. But yeah, man, that's like the original dude, man, that inspired that goofy Rob Zombie shit, I guess. And then, I mean, he's a complete psychopath. Super interesting story. His entire life blew me the fuck away because we see a ramp for every serial killer. They start out testing the water. It's like the types of crimes that I did when I was a kid was mainly, you know, like stealing beers. And you warm up to it, you know? You figure out, like, you can get a pack of gum. You figure out you can get this, you can get that. You start tucking, like, one beer in there. And eventually you got Buddy walking out with, like, 64 line kugels from a fucking Chicago's.
I mean, the hell, you know, it's like, man, if you don't use it, you lose it, you know. And I've been having to build back up here in these later times, you know. I've been
You've been stealing, dude?
yeah, some taquitos.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
had
You
sold
do steal
taquito in
That's
3
hilarious.
weeks, man. I'm losing it. I'm gonna lose it.
You lost your fucking taquitos.
I didn't even bring my vest, man. That's where you. That's how
Yeah.
you. Man, it's like, you know, you see
That
this-
is real funny, man. We were in the fucking come and go like 3 weeks ago, and you know, we're getting all of our shit, and we're about to get to the cash register to check out. And I told Buddy he could get whatever he wants, and I'd pay for it. So I got like pork rinds and nacho cheese, some water, and Buddy put up like 1 bag of chips. And then like as soon as the dude turned his back for 1 second, you open your vest and there was like fucking 4 taquitos in that pocket, man, just poking up. What were you calling them?
Kentucky cigars.
Man, I
man.
couldn't take a cigar, dude. A fucking taquito.
Man, you know
man.
what? You don't ever think of that, man. It's
Yeah.
because when you'd watch like Gangland and they'd have like a Hell's Angels interview, and the
Yeah.
guy would just open his leather vest up and pull a cigar out and light it up.
You just pull a taquito out, man. That's a hard way to roll, dude. If you don't smoke cigars, you just have a vest full of fucking taquitos ready to go. Yeah, you should get a cigar case and put taquitos in it.
Hell yeah.
You know those ones that have like the fucking flip top like Bugs Bunny used to roll around with, and you would just crack it open and pop one cigar and just fucking flip that taquito up and crack it right in the side of your mouth and slowly chew it down, dude.
Or they just like save me the ones that have hair on them, you know? And then,
Man, you know what I hate about that come and go? I don't think it's even stealing from there because for a while we were going and they had that lady that she had teeth. Like I've seen a lot of people that don't have teeth and they'll be missing like the entire bottom row of their
Yeah.
teeth or like the front 2 teeth. But she in her mouth only had the left half of teeth.
Yeah.
Like the right half was all gone, but the left half was all there. Hey, how the fuck did that occur? Everything just went right on the fucking right side, and the left side was cool. Like even the teeth that were touching where the right side is didn't get affected by whatever type of rot happened there. Or could she only afford like half of a removal and is waiting to save it for the other half? And instead of getting like the bottom and then the top, she was like, well, I could chew over here if I keep this half for the time being, you know.
ah, man, that's how they came up with the idea for Two-Face and Batman. She had some fucked up.
She had fucked up everything, but she was nice as shit to us.
Yeah, man.
She was like, you boys are always having a good time. Here, have some taquitos. She would be like throwing all the day before's food away right when we were getting there, and she would just let you have it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
then you
remember.
actually dug him out of the trash one time.
I did. And one time, hey man, I do remember that one time she was like, "Y'all are always having a good time," and Chris goes, "Yeah, because we're gay." And
Yeah.
she was like, "Hell yeah."
Yeah,
and then
she
that
was
was
with
it,
it, dude.
man. As soon as that happened, we started getting free taquitos.
Yeah, I guess you just like to think about us fucking going and pounding each other's asses. And that's when we were peak fat.
Man,
Just imagine us in my fucking Scion fucking each other's asses.
no.
Yeah, she did. For
Yeah.
sure.
It's
100%.
probably smelled the way it
She
smells
did.
now.
Yeah, it stinks in there. I don't clean that
Man,
shit.
one time I came over to your house, it was like right after fucking Thanksgiving, and there was paper plates everywhere with stains in them and shit, and I was like, what the fuck you been doing?
In the car?
Yeah, man. And you
Yeah.
had one, like, there was a slice of pie, and a bite taken out of it with
All
whipped
right.
cream, and then you were just like, hey, I gotta go to the store, and you take a bite out of that shit like a grenade and take off, man.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't
dude.
remember that at all.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can tell you exactly why I paid
and it was
her-
when your foot was hurting real bad, too.
Oh,
'cause I was like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, he's got gout.
Dude, I think that was a straight up gout attack, man.
Man, we were being, we were scummed.
Yeah, I mean, you just get to a point, dude, where you give the fuck up. It's easy to do. Just be like, fuck it, man.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything physical. I'm eating whatever I want. And then it just builds and builds. So you have like a threshold, and you got to keep surpassing it. It's like, fuck it, man, I've been here before. I would just eat like this. And then like your fucking once a month terrible meal becomes like once a week, and then it becomes every fucking day, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we surpassed that, and I don't know what led us down the stinky Scion hole, but let's get back to Dr. Marcel Patois, a.k.a. Dr. Say. I have no idea how to say his last name. I just assume you French it up. It's P-E-T-I-O-T, so it's probably Patois. This motherfucker he's literally done every crime. Like, all the crimes you can do have been committed by this man. And like I was saying, serial killers have a ramp up. That's how they do it. They test the waters. They end up, you know... Maybe they peeping Tom, maybe they prank phone call, they stalk, they work their way into the crime that they're going to be committing. They test what they can get away with, and then once they figure out they can get away with it, they usually start developing a pattern and see it. Like Richard Ramirez, every time he would kill someone, mainly his pattern was to see like how extreme he could make it. You know, like he would just keep trying to get more and more gruesome. And every single crime is like, well, I mangled this face and had sex with it this way. Let's try to make it even worse the next time. Maybe put a baby in the mix. Whatever type of crazy shit he could get away with. Like when he pounded those olds.
Yeah.
Remember they were all feebed up in a bed and he just got in there and crammed it anyway? God damn. And then carved a fucking pentagram into him. I don't understand where you get to a level of depravity where you're having sex with an old woman, dude. You're like he's not even a bad looking guy. He's just pounding old. For what reason?
Right,
Just to
man.
be evil, dude?
Some people like
If you want to be evil.
to hear hips getting broken.
Ugh, God. It's like punishment for you. Like,
Every time you slip it in, it sounds like an egg getting cracked open.
oh my God, dude. Like a real faint fucking.
Yeah, man, you make it like a 72 egg omelet.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, Dr. Satan worked his way up into the ill shit with some small shit, and then the small shit just kept making the snowball until I guess he just had enough of all the boring crimes and wanted to get into the thick of it. Before we get to that, let's get to the advertising portion, which isn't really an advertisement. It's more of just a favor to us. If you enjoy this podcast, please help us out by giving us a 5-star rating on iTunes. It's a small thing. Sounds like it's not a big deal. It actually is. The more you do it, the more it helps us out. We appreciate everyone who has. And when you pop that 5 stars in, go ahead and subscribe. And when you do the 5-star review, every time we get more of them, people have not been typing anything in. You don't have to tell us how cool we are. We're not trying to pump the old ego up. You put anything in there. Just type ass and push send. Ass, push send. And that's cool with me.
Street pump.
Street pump? Man, hell yeah. If you put street pump in there, you'll be my favorite. But that helps a ton. This stupid iTunes has a way that they work and to try to push you up the charts or peek into the charts or whatever type of thing to make more people see the podcast. That's their algorithm. You have to have an interaction to make your thing pop up to the top of whatever feed it's on, basically. So please do that. That helps a ton. If you have, thank you so much for doing that. Tell your friends about it. That helps a lot. If you're really into helping out, we've got a Patreon. Patreon is a way to support artists without any type of advertising or corporate overlordship. You just directly support us. You go to patreon.com/deathmetaldicks. We do a special episode every other week where me and Buddy sit down and talk about things that aren't what we normally talk about in the show. If you've been a fan ever since when Buddy read the lyrics and you like that, Buddy reads the lyrics on that show, and he just blew a burp in my face on the microphone. It smells like hot, horrible protein and ass. You type that in to patreon.com, pick a tier that you want to get into, you get a reward for it, and you get a secret episode every other week. Also, if you don't like the subscription type, you just want to do a one-time donation, everything helps us. The littlest amount to the biggest amount, anything you give us means the world to us. We appreciate it so goddamn much. You can do it through PayPal with our email address, deathmetaldicks@gmail.com. And we have tons of people that do it. We appreciate it so much. We shout them out at the end of every episode. But since I forgot last fucking episode, we're going to do it right now. And this is our highest tier of patrons. And like I said, this episode was inspired by Bolt Thrower's song, What Dwells Within. And that was sent to us by our friend Bobby Henderson, who we basically met through Patreon. And now he helps us run our Facebook group. You can join that. It's fun as hell. Lots of metal posting going on in there. We have fun. And we also got to thank Cam Catron. Or is it Catron?
I don't know.
I've only read it.
Yeah.
Matt Mess, Bobby Henderson, of course, Ryan Parker, Casey Gaden. Those are the highest tier of patrons. Thank you guys so much for supporting us week after week, even though we're dumb.
Dumb.
And if you want to get in on that, join up. We'll shout you out. We'll let you pick episodes. We'll get you some shirts. All types of cool shit. Patreon.com/DeathMetalDicks. All done with that. Let's start off with this fucking freak's life. January 17th, 1897 is when my man Marcel Petiot was born into the world. That can't be how you say it. Petiot.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I like Petiot.
Yeah, me too. Oh, Marcel Petiot. French are always like, with a baguette.
Just need some NyQuil.
A baguette. So, not a lot about his early life online. Again, pretty interesting. Now, one thing that I can tell you about Dr. Satan and looking it up is that there's a lot of controversy about things that didn't happen because it's so old. 1800s, historical preservation wasn't that great. There's photographs of him and there's legal documents that got translated, but this was also, a lot of it happened during World War I. As we all know, Germany invaded France, so a lot of records got mingled and mangled. So what we know for sure about him is that at age 11, this is like an example into a life of fuckery. 11 years old. Now, we got a lot of school shootings going on in America right now. There's been kids as young as kindergarten taking guns to school, and there's been plenty of high schoolers that go on a rampage and shoot up their school. It's a current trend. Were people doing it in 1897? I don't think so. I think my man was a pioneer because he took his father's gun to school, went in the classroom, fired it off, and then used that leverage to try to get a student in the classroom to have sex with him.
Age 11?
Age 11.
Man.
How do you even come up with that? In the 1800s, just like, I take the pistol, I go to school, I fire one shot in air, give me the puss.
I mean, he could have probably just done that.
Yeah, because French fuck, man.
In the park, in public?
Yeah, they stay fucking, dog.
Why don't you ever do that with my dick?
And so, propositioned his classmate for sex, and a thing you'll notice with Marcel is that throughout his entire life, he does all types of crazy shit. His ramifications are always a mental evaluation. That must be some French thing, which is why they drug us into World War I and then bailed on us to leave us to fight their goddamn fight.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't really know that much about the French. I just feel like I hate them. And I think it's because of Pepe Le Pew, you know what I'm saying? Just like a straight rapist. Why do we have to watch that cartoon? He's a horrible, terrible deviant.
He probably went to school at age 11 with a gun. And
Dude, he had to have. And I mean, this was way before Looney Tunes, but I'm guessing that Pepe Le Pew was based upon Dr. Satan for sure. And so, as a teenager, he got caught robbing a post office box. He was charged with damage of public property and theft. He was sentenced to a psychiatric evaluation And the doctors found that he had a mental illness like kleptomania and is psychopath. So the charges were dropped. And then he was a juvenile delinquent his entire life. He had kleptomania, which is a legit disease. And if you don't know what that means, it's just you can't stop stealing shit. You have to do it. It's like if you want to steal something from fun, like every fucking teenager steals, especially white girls. Dude, white girls steal.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. I had a girlfriend in high school, dude, she would get every fucking thing available. Like all the clothes I had, dude, were straight yanked by her because no one would ever do shit about it. You know what I'm saying? Like she would go in with like a pair of fucking Lee pipes on and put like 5 pairs of fucking pants underneath it and just walk the fuck out.
Was she in the Earth Crisis?
It was wild. Yeah.
Hell.
Of course, dude. But yeah, he just couldn't stop. He had legit kleptomania, diagnosed with it, stole all the time. He got expelled from school like 17 times. He was diagnosed as mentally ill, which was like an official 1800s French diagnosis. It's like basically if you were mentally unstable enough that you had to be, if you were an adult, you would be on disability. They just framed you as mentally ill. So that's supposed to be your whole life. That's what you got going on, is being mentally ill. Your entire life cycle is revolved around how people have to help you get through living. He finished his education at a special academy in Paris, July 1915. That's college. So this is, again, close to World War I. I got to take a swig of this water.
A swig. I wish there was a cigarette butt in that water.
Man, have you ever had that happen to you? Like someone put a cigarette butt in a drink and then you weren't paying attention, went and drank it?
Yeah.
It's the worst thing.
I had a dude leave a beer out of a urinal, a fresh one, and I chugged it and filled it with piss and left it there. And what the fuck?
What? He like went back for
It
it?
was that long shot. Yeah, he went to go grab it, take a swig, just spit it. And he's like, what the fuck?
So he like left the bathroom and forgot his beer and came back for it?
It was a fresh beer. I hadn't even had a sip at it.
Yeah.
I chugged it, pissed at it, put it back on there.
That is his fault, though, because if you leave a beer unattended in the bathroom, you got to let it go, man. You can't go back and get that shit.
No, man. And I was wrecked.
Yeah. Think about how many things that we've seen in bathrooms and pissed on. Jackets, hats, just anything. Like if we've been drinking and something's in the bathroom, it's for
Hell, we might even
sure.
turn the toilet out of the wall.
Yeah, we done that. Remember when we fucking double-deckered that toilet? And then we were gone for like 5 hours, and we came back, and they had the toilet loaded up in the back of a truck. Like, why would you just clean it out, dude?
It was all fucking Betty Spaghetti, dude. It was all fucking blown away.
Oh, man. Just think about that level of frustration where you double-decker, like someone goes to flush the toilet. And, you know, what's funny about a double-decker is when you shit it, first of all, don't have a public toilet with a tank on it. You know, you shit in the top, so when you flush it, just shit residue keeps coming out.
Well, you know, the water comes out to like change out. It just fucking noodles, man.
Yeah, because the turd can't fit through that hole. Only water can, so it's just like a turd fucking filtered water keeps coming back into the toilet. And you own a gas station, and you just go into piss, and you flush it, and you're like, flush it again? What? Flush it again? Man, what the hell? You look at the top, and there's just... Again, horrible shit.
A couple of fucking stink canoes.
Oh, man. And you know, it was a loose valve, so there's no cleaning it out, dude. And you just get so mad you take the whole toilet out of the wall. God damn it.
Turn that shit into a summer camp canoe off, man.
Fuck me. Yeah, I mean, we were total juvenile delinquents. So he gets done with Special Academy, July 1915. And if World War I had started, he became a French Army volunteer January 1916. He actually went to battle. I mean, that was your fate. If you lived anywhere in the world, since the word World War, you automatically basically went into the Army. And I don't know if he got drafted or not, because my grandpa got drafted in the Korean War. Even though he got drafted, he was called a volunteer. So, like, he didn't go to the Army and say, hey, fellas, sign me up. He got fucking his number called and had to, like, go down there. And then they drafted his ass, and they called it a volunteering for it. So, it probably is something like that, because this guy for sure doesn't want to go to war. You know what I'm saying?
There's no way we could do that now.
Do what? Draft people?
Just draft.
Why not?
We'd have the weakest.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Nobody listens.
America's so soft.
Nobody listens to Manowar. Mortician.
Exactly. But that means
It'd be like everybody in our fucking group page would have to go to. We'd be 346 of us.
yeah,
And
hard.
we would kick everybody's
Oh,
fucking
fuck yeah,
ass.
because we were listening to Manowar the whole time,
man.
getting emboldened. You would just tell us the enemy doesn't like metal.
You just give us
They have a
hammers.
song called Holy War, and it's like, this is a holy war, but it's talking about metal, like they're fighting for metal. Like, that's what it is.
That's a religion.
It's not, yeah, because they're like Manowar has no gods, no masters, only metal. That shit rips, boy. And so he goes into the army, and he's in active combat. In the second battle of Asin, he was wounded and fucking gassed, and he had a mental breakdown. As a result of the mental breakdown, he was sent to a rest home, but then he was arrested for stealing army blankets, morphine, and other army supplies, as well as soldiers' personal items, wallets, photographs, and letters. He was jailed in Orleans, then sent to a psychiatric hospital in Fleury-les-Aubrais. He was again diagnosed with various mental illnesses.
Yeah, he's just a fucking psychopath.
Psychopath, straight up. And you can tell because of the weird shit that he's stealing. He's got kleptomania, so he steals to steal, but like the personal effects and weird shit like that, he's just only trying to make himself feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's only like, if my fucking wife like wrote me a letter with a picture of her knockers or some shit and you stole it, that's some psychopath shit. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, obviously that's special to me, but you don't give a fuck. You just want to jack to the knocks, so you yank that thing out of my army satchel. And even after that diagnosis, I assume because it's World War I, he was returned to the fucking front lines June of 1918. 1 week later, he hurt his foot, allegedly, with his own grenade.
He blew his own shit up.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, how can I get out of the war? Think, pow! Oh, my foot. And I fucking blame France for this. Why did they send him back after being diagnosed as mentally insane? Then, after he goes and rehabs from that, they still attach this fuck to another regiment in September. And then, once again, he sat down in front of mental professionals, and they gave him a new diagnosis, which was finally enough to get him off of the battlefield, and he was discharged with a disability pension. So now he's getting paid for being a psychopath, basically. And after the war, he enrolled in this accelerated learning program, which because of his mental condition, he wasn't supposed to get into. It was intended for war veterans. And he got into the medical program, which is like, it's an accelerated course, but you got to think about if you're, especially in something like World War I, you know, obviously in the early 1900s, the training is not going to be the highest quality for medical professionals anyway. Like, you remember there used to be like a barber shop that would also extract your teeth and shit like that?
Do I remember that?
Well, I mean, you don't remember it from your life, but you know it from watching like
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas movies and shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's not, medical school is not the same thing. But if you were a field medic, you would basically go to Army boot camp, and then you would get on the field and be a field medic. So if an emergency happened, you would do what you can to help whoever got hurt out. And that type of person, you know, they would consider that like on-the-job training towards being a medical professional. So they had an accelerated learning program basically for people like that. Well, somehow, I mean, not somehow, he's a psychopath. So, you know, he can get his way into anything.
Yeah.
He gets his way into this program. He finished medical school in 8 months. That's just hilarious. Like I mean, now, even if you're on like an accelerated plan and you go to school every fucking day, you would have to, it would still take like 8 years of, you know what I'm saying, of fucking doctor school. And then he became an intern at the mental hospital in Évreux, and he received his medical degree December of 1921. So it only took 2 years for the entire process. Then he moved to Villeneuve-sur-Yonne, where he received payments for his services of being a doctor, both from the patients and from government medical assistance funds. And what that means is like, let's say I'm in France, it's socialist, you know, they have healthcare, but like people are dumb as shit. So you come to me and I'm a doctor and I'm like, all right, you got to get 5 stitches in your pussy. And France would just pay for that. You know, there would be no copay, no nothing. But this dude would be like, so to get the 5 stitches in your hole, you're gonna have to pay me $200. But then also France would pay him for that. So he was just preying on people.
How are people that dumb?
Dude, it's fucking France. Number one. Number two, it's the 1900s. There's no internet. What do you want them to do? If you fucking go to the doctor, it's for sure a goddamn emergency.
Are you a Francophobic?
Yeah, man. I don't like the French because I'm afraid of becoming French.
I knew it.
Yeah.
You're going to take one bite out of a croissant too, Betty, and it's over, buddy. You got your fucking mustache. You're almost there, buddy.
You know what it is, dude? Is that because I'm not on carbohydrates right now, and I love them so much, they just make... That's who makes the best breads, dude. French, #1 breads.
Yeah.
So I know if I support France, I'm going to end up with a croissant, and then down I go. It's like giving a meth head meth, baby. I'm going to be off to the fucking carb races.
Hey, man, they fucked up the sandwich game when they brought the baguette to New Orleans, man.
Dude, I love a baguette, man. That's the #1 bread. Like a good, nice baguette. However those ended up in fucking Vietnam, thank the Lord that they did.
I think they got the goddamn
banh
po'
mi,
boys
that's
to
my
go.
favorite shit. Baguette's not a banh mi bread.
I didn't say mommy had po' boy.
I mean, baguette is a banh mi bread. It's not a po' boy bread. Baguette's the slender one.
Well, still, some French
The French
shit.
bread. Yeah, that shit's delicious, dude. Like, it's all chewy like that, man.
Yeah.
Fuck me. God, I'm getting not only hungry, but legit horny. Like, I'm getting a half because I'm thinking about hot, chewy bread with some fried oysters in that shit. A little bit of remoulade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so off course. I'm just talking about food. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting boned up in the midst of someone's life story, getting all fooded. But yeah, so, Jesus Christ, food. He is working in this hospital, and you know how doctors work today. It's kind of the same thing, because if you go to medical school, you get out, you become a resident. So you work in a hospital or in like a family practice, and you are a doctor and you're getting paid, but you're also like working off your debt, you know?
Yeah.
And so you're working for somebody, and they're also keeping an eye on you and training you how to do the job the right way. You don't just jump off right out of school, even though you've had tons of practice and training in school, and go like right on your own. You still have to have someone look after you and kind of apprentice you into it. And that's kind of what he's doing over the next couple of years, even though he's bamboozling money. At this time, my man had begun using addictive narcotics. I don't know what they had back then. I'm certain it's some type of opiate.
Morphine, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Morphine, ether, whatever you can get your hands on. But of course, just like now, I mean, it's an opiate. It's addictive, and it fucks people up.
Well, I mean, methamphetamine was around back then, too, I think.
Methamphetamine was invented by the Germans for World War II.
Okay.
So it's close. That's the legit who made it. Isn't that wild as hell, man?
That's the term where the term getting jazzed up came from, is because all the jazz musicians were fucking banging amphetamine.
Yeah?
For real.
I thought it was reefer that they're all worried about.
No, man. They weren't ever worried about that, man, because they were prescribing it back in the day to people that are like called pet pills.
Well, when they made pot illegal, the big smear campaign was that, like, don't let white women go to the jazz club. That's where coloreds are smoking marijuana and raping. They can't control themselves.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
But it was just...
You mean it's just like I get my fucking hog hole slammed by a baby arm?
Yeah, when they turn their... they got their fucking pink sink turned on, dude, because reefer makes fucking cool. You know what I mean? Getting high and boning, dude, that's the way to go.
Yeah, man.
That's like the only cool thing to do on pot.
And I wish we had a pink sink po' boy.
But just a fried fucking, like a turkey vulva.
Yeah, that lady from the Antichrist movie just cut like 6 more clits off
Woo!
for a sandwich.
Speaking of French, man, Lars von Trier's movie Antichrist, fuck that. She just and I hate the way, he does a good job of making it look real, because she pulls that boy out and it's all plump and like grabs, you know how it's got like that hood situation?
Yeah.
And just snips that whole fucking thing off, man. Of herself, dude.
Oh,
and is getting hot by it. Doesn't do it to like die.
Man,
Does it because she's getting
fucking
hot.
Clips off the squid eye. Straight out of her beef sleeve. And it's
the fucking squid eye, dude. Oh my god. So God damn, man. We're fucking running off topic too much today. I'm getting all worked up about food and then fucking beef sleeves. But yeah, so, I mean, that's a bad combination because this guy's a psychopath and he's highly educated for the time. So he's getting money. If you have somebody that becomes addicted to narcotics, they have money to buy the narcotics, and they also are working like the sketchiest job to be hooked on drugs to. I would think anything to be fucked up, a doctor is the worst thing to be fucked up, especially in like the 1900s where you're just wilding out and doing surgeries your own way. You know, like you're just figuring shit out, dude. It's not like you have all these manuals and the fucking internet and smart lecturers who have been there before. It's like, yes, I work at Johns Hopkins University and I have successfully performed this operation hundreds of times. I know exactly how to pinpoint this cancer and cut the tumor out without causing any damage to this area and effectively remove it. Back in these days, before that shit even went down, it's like, well, I don't know what the fuck cancer is, but you got some shit right here. I got a sharp fucking knife, and I'm going to get in there and scoop that shit out, probably, and then sew you back up and send you on your way. And if you're fucked up on opiates, then you're way more bold when you're on an opiate. Like, you'll do some shit that you wouldn't normally do. You'll just do whatever the hell you want to. And if you're just cutting on people, I can't imagine that was working out good at all. And while he's working at this hospital, he gained a reputation for dubious medical practices. One thing he was doing is supplying narcotics to other addicts, selling them, like selling prescriptions, which I think that, I mean, I've heard of people going down for that. Recently in Arkansas, there was like a bus where there was a doctor that was working with a police force. You know what I'm talking about? What town was that? It was like a sheriff's department. And what the doctor was doing is, they had like one of those pain treatment centers where first, you would come in and you get prescribed the pain pill, or you just want pain pills, or people would come and like get a bunch of pain pills and take them to a different state, and you would have to get a prescription to do it. So the doctor would write a prescription, and then there was some type of federal law passed, and they really cracked down on that. So you would come in, and the pharmacy that was making tons of money from it was still with it. They didn't give a fuck. They weren't gonna like report anything. So the doctor, and they were paying off the sheriff's department, like everyone was in on it, and he was selling. So you would come in, and because I couldn't write you a prescription for your knee hurting of this many pills, I would have to, forge a prescription. Not forge because I'm a doctor, but I couldn't do it the normal way. So because of that, you would pay me just to write you the prescription. Like, basically, I decided that as a doctor, I'm making way more money doing this shit, so fuck everything else, I'll just do this and write you a prescription for it. You pay me thousands of dollars for it. You would go to the pharmacy that is working with me and pick it up. No one knows about it. Sheriffs aren't going to pull you over and take it because they're in on it. And you would get out of town. So he's selling prescriptions to other addicts. You know what I mean? And it's also crazy to think that this was going on back in the 1900s. Also, he was performing illegal abortions. Abortions, of course, weren't allowed at this time in France. You couldn't get pregnant and then get rid of it. It's a Catholic place, you know what I'm saying? Life is beautiful. If you nut in somebody, you got to take care of it. And you want to. That's the whole point of sex for a Catholic, is to reproduce. So you're supposed to keep nutting and have butts come out. But
how come they can use lambskin, though?
The Catholics can?
Yeah, I thought there was like some kind of thing. That's why they make lambskin condoms.
No, I think lambskin condoms are for people that are allergic to latex, my guy. I think that
it's weird.
I don't think you're supposed to use prophylactics at all when you're Catholic. I think when you have sex, it's to reproduce. I don't think they subscribe to like the sex before marriage is a big deal. You just gotta have it if you have it, and that's the goal. And that's why Catholics always have like 20 fucking members of their family. You know what I'm saying?
Ugh.
Yeah. Could you imagine how I had, dude? When I growing up down the street, like my best friend growing up, his family was Catholic. By the time I moved away, they had fucking 6 kids. And then last time we went back, dude, they had 12 kids, and they're like in their goddamn 60s. They had like 6 more kids. They're like 60-something years old, and they have like 3-year-olds running around and shit. And then their kids are fucking splashing out kids all over the place.
I would kill myself.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck?
I could be 16 taking care of a fucking 3-year-old.
Oh my god, man.
It's
hell.
Taking care of a 6 and 7-year-old.
You're gonna burn in hell.
You're just like,
yeah, dude.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Stop.
Don't do that. Stop. This is bullshit. Stop.
Stop.
Go to your room. Okay, go to your room.
Yeah, bad enough. Fuck off.
Go to your bed.
Yeah, out of control, dude. Fucking Catholicism is wild. So that's why you can't have abortions. And so, but he was doing them. You know what I'm saying? So he was another hustle. And he's all fucked up. He doesn't care. And I think this is going to lead into his future endeavors because again, this isn't something that's like a refined technique. I mean, the abortion of today is not a big deal at all. It's a refined medical procedure. An abortion doctor could do it with their fucking eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? It ain't shit. They know how to do it because they've done it for hundreds of years the right way. But back here in France, when it's illegal, so no one's teaching you how to do it, you're just kind of figuring it out yourself. You know what I mean? So that's fucked up. And then he's also stealing money. He was somehow pinching money from the town's treasury. He stole a bass drum from a local band, and he stole a stone cross from the Catholic Church.
Fuck, man, he's gonna start a fucking war metal band.
Yeah, they just break into his apartment. He's got fucking sunglasses on. The stone cross is turned upside down. He's just kicking the fucking
The
bass
first
drum.
fucking French
He's
black metal
fucking
band.
smacking the bass drum with fetuses.
Damn.
So he's still working there. 1926, he had an affair with one of his elderly patient's daughters, Louise Delavue. She disappeared in May of 1926, and when police went searching for her, a neighbor stated she used to come over to Marcel Patois' apartment all the time, but they haven't seen her for a couple of months. And about a month earlier, they had seen Marcel Patois load what looked like a body wrapped in a carpet into his trunk. Police investigated him, looked into that angle a little bit, but then they ultimately decided that Louise was a runaway.
Damn.
Yeah. So that was likely his first victim, but we don't know for sure because he never copped to it, and also they ruled her as a runaway, so there was never any concrete evidence. Of course, back then, with no internet to keep track of anybody, no cameras, you could disappear, become an entirely different person, and it was a shit-ass country then. You know, Germany was about to occupy France. I mean, it's not like you want to be around that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's war-torn, it's a rough economy, and even France was a lot better than most, but, you know, if you could find a way to, like, get to America, people were doing that left and right, so it's common, you know, it's an easy thing to write off. I imagine, and what I got to thinking about, again, when we pick Bolt Thrower and war crimes, and we've talked about this before, is that there had to be so many serial killers during wartime, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you're even not a soldier, like, if you're, like, a civilian and you're not in the army and your town gets, like, invaded or some shit and you get the chance to just go around and slay whoever you want to and blame it on the army, that had to have happened so much, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, just that's the most opportune way. And, you know, if you're a serial killer and you're a psychopath, sociopath, that's what you're looking for always, is just opportunity. So many people had to make that happen. Funny enough, I mean, and this is the most appropriate route for this guy to take, is he got into politics. You know, he's a doctor, and he's doing well because he's a doctor. That's what's fucked up about society back then, is that he's stealing, and everyone knows about it. He may have murdered this fucking lady, and everyone knows about it. Because, again, we've talked about in the old times, anytime there's a social event that happens, you know, there's no nightly news. There's newspapers, but anything that happens, especially if it's printed in the paper, dude, everyone's going to talk about it. They're just going to, oh, did you hear about this crazy doctor killing these pigs out here? And the word gets around about every single thing. Gossip is the #1 mover of news in the 1900s. And despite him being investigated for murder, he ran for the mayor of that town, Villeneuve-sur-Yonne. During the debate against the other candidate for mayor, he hired somebody to disrupt his opponent, which is a good fucking move back then.
Yeah.
So the guy couldn't get a single word in, and Marcel got elected mayor. And subsequently, as a mayor, he stole everything that he could get his hands on. He took taxpayer money. He stole cans of oil from the railroad depot. He had people go out and just snag up all the oil the railroad brought in. And for stealing the oil cans, he was actually tried and convicted, sentenced to 3 months in prison, and suspended from being mayor for just 4 months.
He was suspended and like.
That's it. He just got suspended for being mayor. They're like, well,
What
you've
the
been
fuck?
stealing money. You stole these fucking cans of oil to sell. Why don't you not be mayor for a few months? And then he came back, and despite that shit, he continued to be mayor for 3 more years. And the entire time, he continued, like, everything that comes up missing, they're like, yo, did you steal this shit? And he's like, oh, no. But he did. I mean, he definitely did. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been stealing. Everyone knows it's him. 3 years he keeps this shit going. And he finally gets removed from office in 1931. The next election cycle, he runs for a seat on the general council in the Yvonne district, and guess what? He fucking wins. And he becomes the youngest man to ever hold this position. He held that seat until he was charged with theft of electric power, which basically he wasn't paying for the electricity at his house by way of like running a power line that was supposed to look like the old cable trick where your next door neighbor's got cable, so you splice into it and take it for yourself. He did that shit with electricity, so he was fined and he lost his seat on the council. So he said, "Fuck it," and moved to Paris.
Oh man, this guy's like
He's doing it, dude.
He's fucking punk
He's
as
just up to
fuck, man.
hijinks, man. He's like the original Rob Ford. Like Rob Ford was that fat fucking mayor from Toronto that was cool as hell. He was just having sex with prostitutes and smoking crack and shit. I mean, like that video that they caught him smoking crack with a prostitute is the funniest fucking thing because he's like, Rob Ford is a bad motherfucker because everyone knew that he was smoking crack. Everyone knew that he was banging out prostitutes and smoking crack with them. But he was so good at being a mayor that he got fucking elected like twice, right? I think he was like a 3-term mayor, dude. And he fucking died from being fat and smoking crack. That's a hot tip too. If you're gonna smoke crack, you can't be fat.
Yeah,
It's too much, man. You got mayonnaise on top of baguettes clogging your heart, and then you also got the fucking crack speeding that boy up and just collision coursing with each other.
it's bubbling, man.
Oh my God. So, you know, rest in peace, Rob Ford. But that video of him with that prostitute that they're trying to like sting his ass, he's just like talking to her about the fucking budget. Like he never turns it off. He like got their economy on such a good track. And she's like, well, what do you think about coming back to my place and doing this? And he's like, I honestly can't think about anything but this goddamn budget. You know, they're riding my ass, but here's my idea. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm literally a street working prostitute. And he's like, but you don't understand that the way the taxes come in and go out, I could take this here and cut this out, move this to here. And then when I do that from here to there, we're going to save so much money and every single citizen of this town is going to profit immensely. Let's elect this fuck again, for sure. He fixed all the problems because he's high on crack.
Yeah, crack is a tool. for-
Yeah, dude. If you just get... Donald Trump's tooted up on something for sure. That's why he's doing such a good-ass job, man. I mean, people want to shit on him, dude, but let me ask you this. Are we fucking sorting shit out with North Korea, yes or no?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that shit.
I guarantee that him and that creep are sharing fucking amphetamine secrets. Hey, listen here. I've been getting high as fuck on this for years. It makes me go fast. Look, I'm old. I drink Diet Coke. And I eat McDonald's every day. What do you think? I'm not slowing down? You gotta try it, you fucking slant-eyed freak. Dude, Kim Jong-un is such a goofy shit, man. I could give a fuck about politics, but those are two of the goofiest looking fucks in the entire universe. And it's so funny that they're working it out with each other. And I think that dude from North Korea is just super hyped on celebrities, right? Like, that's his shit. He just loves movies and TV and fucking basketball players. So, like, that was actually a pretty good fucking move to deal with North Korea, is to get, like, a fucking TV star president. And so he's just like, well, you know, I really want to hate you, but I watch your show, and I really like the way you move your face when you fire somebody. I wish I could fire somebody, but we have no job. There's no job for Kim to fire, so I run to watch Donald Trump fire. And you get in government and you fire him.
I really love your short spot on Reno Lascos.
Yeah, he's in Little Rascals, dude. Holy shit. I forgot that fucking idiot's in Little Rascals. Oh, my God. He's got so many cameos in kids' movies. And he's just, like, being a rich fuck in kids' movies, too. Like, Home Alone, dude. He's in there for a second, like, hey, what's up there, Kevin? All right, have fun, you take. What the fuck, man? We live in the stupidest goddamn world. I would just rather, we should just be able to kill that man with a sword and a hammer and be fucking president. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if you can say that. Can you say that?
I just did.
Oh, shit. Hope they come knocking on your door.
I mean,
mine.
I'm not gonna kill him. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody knock on my door. It's falling off.
Come and knock on my door.
Come and knock on my door.
We're gonna kill you.
Man, there's a picture right there of that specific scene.
Yeah, so anyway,
that's such a bullshit haircut. He still has that. That's like 1993.
Yeah, sure. But no one on the podcast can see what we're looking at. So, in between his political offices, Marcel Patois met and married Georgette Lebois. She's a 23-year-old daughter, and her dad is basically a Donald Trump type character. He's a wealthy landowner and owns butcher shops. He's from Signelli, and together, him and his wife had a son named Gerhard. What a ridiculous name. Oh, I came inside your pink sink. What's the byproduct? We name him a Gerhard. Gerhard. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger calling someone's heart a girl. You cannot face me. I have a man heart, and you inside of you have a girl heart.
Crud.
That kid's fucked forever, man.
Shit. Well, yeah, they're probably dead now.
Yeah, so he moved to Paris, and he started off in Paris good. You know, he's married, he's got a kid, so he's trying to work on his family. And this is what we see a lot of serial killers do, is they have like a dormant period in their crimes where they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to keep it reeled in. And this is where you see the positive side of like psychopath shit, is where they pursue a positive thing like as hard as they can. So he has his own medical practice now, and he works really hard to do good at it to make a ton of money. And he does. He gets a solid practice. People in the community like him. He's got a good name and a good reputation in Paris. But of course, before long, all that old shit starts to seep in. As soon as he starts to break the path a little bit, he starts stealing shit again. And then he starts giving addicts opiates. And then he sees the opportunity in Paris definitely to start making tons of money off doing illegal abortions. So he starts that shit all over again. And then he starts to get the reputation of the guy that will do your abortion. He starts to get the reputation of the guy that will prescribe you the drugs you want to take. And then that just makes you that seedy part of Paris. And the police start looking at that. And then as soon as they find something to arrest him on, of course they do, they arrest him for petty theft. And in the arrest, he assaults a police officer. And then instead of going to trial and being charged with it, once again, the slippery shit somehow gets to speak with a psychiatrist and is marked insane. So he gets away with the entire thing. No problem. He's fucking insane. Let's send him to a sanitarium. He spends 4 months in a sanitarium, but once again, he was released, and he's got a lot of money now. You know, his wife's got a rich family. He's got a booming medical practice. So part of the mind of the community around him is that, you know, he's helping the community. He's making money. Hopefully he's paying his taxes. And despite the doctor's doubts of his grasp of sanity, he got out the fuck again. And he's a doctor too, you know, so they're probably like, listen, we think you insane. And he's like, well, you may think I am insane, but also I too am a doctor. So I tell you, not insane. Okay. He gets the fuck out, dude.
It's prescription.
Yeah, and so then they really look into what he's had going on. And of course, it turns out he hasn't been paying any fucking taxes. He's doing illegal shit. I mean, he's doing illegal abortions. He's got a ton of money coming in. He's definitely not paying taxes on that. He's definitely not selling pills to the community and then paying tax money on those fucking pills, which, you know, is the reason they have a problem with it in the first place. That's always the only problem, is that you're not paying taxes on that shit. Oh, that's against the law. So because it's against the law, you're not going to pay taxes on it, so you're fucked. We're going to send your ass. We're going to Wesley Snipes your ass. Send you fucking jail for years for not doing that shit. But he got a lucky break because Germany fucking invaded France in 1939. So he didn't have to do anything about not paying those goddamn taxes.
Yeah, because he just went and did whatever the fuck he still wanted to do.
As the Germans, they storm in. Just imagine being invaded by fucking Germany. That had to be some scary shit, especially for the French because, you know, they've got experience with Napoleon, who was a little goof that tried to take over the entire world.
Yeah.
Came in, guns a-blazing, get real goddamn close to taking over. Actually, I looked at some Napoleon shit not that long ago because he was pretty fucking hard, and he wasn't that small.
Really?
Yeah, he was like 5'8", and back then the average man was like 5'5".
Oh,
so he's like
bigger than everybody.
And 5'8" is like average size now. I think about maybe like 5'10", but he's like, you know, a regular sized fucking dude now. But back then he was a big ass dude.
So he'd bring the Jaeger Schnitzel with the Spatzel, because that's the difference between him and fucking Germans.
Yeah, well, you know, the Germans were out for some weird shit. Napoleon was trying to conquer. He wasn't trying to like purify any elements of the world for the fucking French master race, unlike the old Germans there. But, again, I'm just saying France had firsthand experience with that type of, Machiavelli. They had seen all that shit. So when Germany comes knocking, that's kind of why the French bailed on the World War. I mean, they got invaded and everything got fucking laid to waste. Like, France got fucking pulverized by the Germans. And it was nasty. I mean, they had enough time to set up labor camps and start persecuting the Jewish community in France. And they were persecuting a lot of French people. And they would just smash them. I mean, they burned Paris to the fucking ground. They destroyed the countryside, raped, pillaged, just fucking ran all over France. And that's what they were trying to do to the world. And at a lot of points in World War II, it really looked like to countries outside of America, like Germany was definitely going to do it. I mean, if you got to imagine if you're the French and you've been an ally with America and you're trying to fight off this invasion that's coming your way, because France and Germany aren't that far apart, and America's helping you out, that's got to feel good because America is like even more of a power than Germany. But at the same time, if you're in Europe and not in America, because in America, like all you're seeing of the war is the propaganda that we're being shown at home, which is like when you go to a movie theater, you get to see like, oh, there's our boys. They're over there kicking fucking ass. There's no pussies here in America. We've been working hard, doing push-ups, shooting at these fucking krauts, smashing them. Fuck those fruits.
Krauts.
America. That's what that shit was like, dude. And so the war didn't seem like we would ever lose it to us at home. But again, in Europe, you had to physically look out your window and see the Germans taking over your country. And that's fucking terrifying. You know what I mean? It's like you are now directly under the control of this insane fuck. And I say Hitler's an insane fuck because he absolutely was. Like, I would think, even if we went into another world war and there was like a dictator like Vladimir Putin, let's just say, was the guy that like rallied up this part of the world and they had a very good chance of taking over this part of the world. And you could listen to him talk and he would give speeches and there would be some things he would say. He'd be like, yeah, for sure. Like, this isn't that crazy. But you would hear, I mean, Hitler was hopped up again on methamphetamine and they were doing weird shit. You know what I'm saying? He had Heinrich Himmler trying to like open a portal to bring the dead back to the earth to help. Like, they were trying to make an army out of the dead to help Hitler take over. You know what I'm saying? And they were just banging fucking meth. Yeah, of course we will, dude. But they were doing just wild shit 24/7, ill and out. I mean, trying to summon old gods, trying to fucking bring forth the end of the world, just doing wild shit. And if you hear about that and you see this guy's insane fucking speeches about like purity and old gods and shit like that, you're like, what the fuck is happening to the world right now? So, everyone's worked up into a state of panic. And I always feel like if you're a country that's caught in between the two, like you're on Team America, so you pick the wrong side, if the other side takes over, you're fucked, man. And you got to be stressed the hell out 24/7. Like, the fucking bomb sirens are going off, shit's getting blown up.
God.
So that's just the frame of mind that they're in. So again, as tax charges go away, because who gives a shit when your country's being taken over? Now, he sounds like he's doing some real cool shit. He also, his main nickname is Dr. Satan, but a lot of people call him the real life Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because
he could turn it on and off.
But also some of his track record seemed like real positive. So when Germany takes over, he established himself as a member of the resistance, which, again, what I've been framing is that France was on the side of America. Now Germany's taken over. You can't just say you're on the side of Germany, but at the same time, your government is now accepting the fact that it's being invaded by a much more powerful government. So you can't exactly look at them in the face and say, fuck you, unless you're just trying to battle it out. So you have to like start complying with what's happening to you, You have to start kind of handing things over and trying to save your own ass. So France is almost a neutral country at this point. Like, they're kind of accepting that Germany's taken over. So within France, there becomes a resistance, which is like a group of soldiers and people that want to rise up against the French government that's kind of allowing Germany to get in now and overthrow the French government to get the Germans out. So that's what we're calling the resistance. And he became a part of the resistance, which is a totally underground network. It's like, again, you don't have any social networking. You don't have a way to communicate with people other than word of mouth. So they're having like secret meetings in sewers, bars, anywhere they can without being under suspicion of anyone else's churches. And they're quietly talking about how they're going to take over. He finds out about it. He gets involved. And at first he's helping out a lot because what he would do is he would provide false medical records for French citizens who were forced into German labor camps like Jews and shit, and say that they had a disease that would spread to everyone else. So they wouldn't take them into the camp. They would send them out to like quarantine or whatever. And then also the people that were in the labor camps that got sick, that were working, he would take care of them for free. And so he's like part of this network, and they would funnel people to him. And it, you know, let's say the Germans want to take you into this labor camp. Well, you know, at first in Germany, we know how the labor camps worked, where it was actually a labor camp. So they would take people and they would make them work hard labor, and they would keep them alive. They weren't like doing experiments and gassing and torturing people right away. It was kind of a gradual slope to that. And then they started starving people, and the treatment got worse and worse and worse. The less money that Germany had and the more depraved that the German soldiers got under the lead of Hitler and Himmler, and they got these examples, and they just began into this fucking way of life where it evolved into torture. It didn't start out like that. It was a labor camp, which is shitty enough as it is, but we did the same thing to the Japanese here, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to put you in a prison, and you're going to work while you're in prison. I mean, you're there anyway, and that's the way they treated it. It was like, okay, well, we view you as a problem, and we kind of want to send you back to Israel. So until we can get you there, we're going to put you in this camp. And since you're here, you might as well work. I mean, we'll take care of your family. We'll house you. We'll feed you. So they're actually doing this in France, and it's the beginning stage, so it's the same cycle over again. It's an actual labor camp. So you would not want somebody with a contagious disease to come into one of these houses and everyone in the house die. You know, you wouldn't want everyone to die. You wouldn't want your soldiers to die. So if you were going to go and you're part of like this resistance group, I don't want you to go. I'm just going to write your medical record to say that you have an infectious disease. And so you're not going to go, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if you were legitimately sick or hurt there, or let's say you got hurt and it was a minor injury, well, then I could say that you're permanently disabled and you won't go back to work because you can't work. So if they would have made the move to say, yeah, fuck it, we're going to bring him here anyway and torture him, then that would have blown their cover. Because again, there actually was, even with Germany, like a certain diplomacy to them coming over into other countries. It was like, they wouldn't just be like, we're going to flat out torture somebody. They work their way into it. So if they can't, you know, if they accosted you or they were in your city, they still wanted it to look like they were your friend, because obviously
you gotta provide enough propaganda to get people on your side in the first place to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So you gotta tell all these people the things that you want them to hear, so that they will do shit like that, so they can torture them. So you can't do the right off the bat. It's hard to get people on your side if you're just being a fucking asshole to be an asshole, unless you're giving them the old bait and swindle.
Which is definitely what Germany was doing. Hey, can you pause for a second, Mark? The air's on and I can hear it loud as fuck.
I'll be able to edit it out.
Oh, all right. My bad.
Chili fucked.
I'll stop it for a second, but I should be able to edit it out.
Oh, if you could edit it out, I don't give a shit. Have you done it before?
Yeah, there's a noise reduction thing.
Oh.
So
All right.
it's gonna pick up your voice and then.
Well, that's good because it's hot as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that food cooking or is that us?
I wondered that.
I was like, man,
I'm pretty sure.
we used to like cauliflower, mashed cauliflower and garlic.
With the so like with the air running, for instance, with your interview that you did with what's his name,
Yeah.
there was like a
Yeah.
going the whole time, and I isolated that sound, and then it cancels it out. So
Oh, okay.
I don't think because you're
It's not like it's a big deal, but dude, here, put on your headphones. It's loud as fuck.
Yeah, me and him both heard at the same time.
Yeah.
yeah, I hear it. I think I'm pretty sure whenever you are talking on the mic though,
Yeah.
that it doesn't pick it up. I think the mic picks up your voice.
Oh no, it picks it up for sure. I can hear it while I'm talking. It's like a multi-directional mic. I mean, it definitely picks it up.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you can turn it off, you might as well.
Okay.
Because I think you'll be able to hear it for sure.
Okay. Well, this will be fine because I mean I'll turn it off, but this will be good because for the brief amount of time that it has been on.
Yeah, you'll know it. We'll be able to find out.
Yeah, I can find out if I can do it.
And it won't ruin like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sorry about that, man.
Oh, nothing to be sorry about, dude. It's like,
No, it's probably a good call.
It's like 90 degrees,
safe.
but
yeah, it's hot as fuck, but I'd rather it be hot than shitty. And I honestly don't even care that much, but I know if it was like that noise the whole time, dude, I'm telling you, like if I put this out on Friday, on Saturday, it's gonna be like, well, man, something came on, man, and it fucked the whole episode up, man. I can't hear anything, man. This is all fucked off. This is messed up. It sounds like shit. Sounds like dick. And I don't think that YouTube's working either.
The thing. No, YouTube's still going, man. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh yeah, Libby just texted me and said he couldn't hear anything. And by the way, Libby, I was talking about the air conditioner came on, and like anytime there's like a
there's no audio.
That's what he said. He said I can't hear shit, but then he laughed because he heard what I said. But yeah, I was talking about if it's fucked up, and he should come. I want to know if the podcast is fucked up. But yeah, dude, I get crushed with complaints anytime something happens, and that's cool because you gotta know. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But it's like, you got to figure if you're about to send a complaint.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's working.
Cheddar.
Oh, he was talking about the air conditioner thing. All right.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, for some reason I did this before in a podcast. And
Yeah.
The air conditioner was running and I could hear it on my headphones, but when I did the podcast, it didn't come.
Well, that's why I was asking if you had done it before.
I just can't remember how loud it was.
Yeah.
Before.
Well, we'll find out with that little clip.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry for the delay.
No, you're cool, dude. I thought the YouTube thing. I said it. It was me. Let's find out. Is the air conditioner loud? Let's find out.
Let me. I'll back it up to where.
Yeah, and this time I'll just start when you tell me to. Man, I gotta tell you that I'm so fucking like after getting a strong street pump on, dude. I get it at 300, and I drank all this coffee. When I tried to start this podcast, dude, I was out of it. Probably sucks.
Okay, so. So right after he says bait and swindle, I'm gonna hit record.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's definitely what Germany was doing, because the fear at the time was not of the army. They had already flexed over that. But you got to think about the average person could always rise up and fuck everything up. And the army, that's kind of the way that the system works, is that the power of the army is intimidating enough to the average person to keep them from rebelling against the government, right? So your army comes in, and let's say you have 1,000 soldiers, but in that town, there's 100,000 people. Now, not all of them are armed, and they're not soldiers themselves, so they don't necessarily know how to fight, and the drive and desire is not in them to fight. So what ends up happening is that you need them to be complicit. So if you just take over by force and cram them into labor camps and shit all over everything, there's a very good chance that they'll rise up. And it's like you have this resistance thing going on. People were rising up, and eventually that did pan out for everybody. Now, again, my man here, Marcel, is helping the resistance heavily by the false medical reports and treating sick workers that returned. And then the way he got pinched for it by the French government, who again is trying to lay down for Germany. They're shook. They're that's where like the stereotype of the French people waving the white flag and giving up comes because they just laid down for Germany. But they really had no choice. You know what I'm saying? Like once they got into Belgium, started coming into France, there was not a goddamn thing they could do about it. So the French government kind of knows what he's doing, and he gets charged for over-prescribing narcotics in 1942, which once again, he just gets a psychiatric evaluation, and then they say, man, this guy's kind of crazy, let him go. He has to pay a fine, and then he changes his name. He takes the alias Dr. Eugene, and he sets up this entire thing. And what it looks like for this organization, the resistance that he's working with, like an incredible thing. Like basically makes the Underground Railroad. Hey, anyone that's Jewish and running from Germany, anyone who's wanted by the Germans from any country, and members of the resistance, the French resistance that the French government or Germany knows about, he goes and he creates this entire network. I mean, obviously he's working with people, and they have an underground sewer system to bring them to a safe area to escape persecution. So if you're a Jew in Germany and you've escaped and you're trying to find somewhere safe to go, if you get in contact with this French Revolution people and now Dr. Eugene, quote unquote, you would be saved allegedly by him. So it's just, I mean, that's insane, right? Like that should be one of the huge heroes of World War II. I mean, safely pulling in people who are being hunted down by the Germans. And it's a doctor. He's got tons of money. What's he doing that for? Because he loves his country, or he loves people. He doesn't want to see people suffer. I mean, that's what, if it was a good thing, you know what I mean? If he was doing things on the up and up and taking care of people. But goddamn, this thing is going to take a terrifying turn next week.
Oh my God, I can't fucking wait.
Cliffhanger. Will he do the right thing? Let's find out. So, yeah, that's it for this week. We're doing a two-parter. War crimes was the theme. Bolt thrower, what dwells within, suggested to us by patron Bobby Anderson. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll give you the second disgusting and depraved, terrifying half of the story of Dr. Satan next week. Thanks for checking it out.
Dr. fucking Satan.
Still live streaming.
Oh, hey, YouTube. Don't say anything racist about anything.
French?
The fucking French. That's not a race, dude. That's a country.
There's 3 folks watching, so if you want to do a sign off or whatever.
Hey, thanks for watching. I know Michael Libby's watching, my man. I'll see you at work tomorrow, dude. It's going to be a great day because our boss is probably French and sucks. Thanks for everyone. Who else is watching? Can we tell?
No, it just says 3.
All right, well, thanks for watching. 3 people.
Yep.
I know it's a weird way of taking a podcast, so we always appreciate it. Eat ass, listen to Manowar, Candlemass. Hell yeah.
Ciao.